The Rosen Report, sports like never before. Brought to you by Gooch Live and Paramount Sports Management. Here's Rosie.
What a beautiful Saturday afternoon it is in Toronto for sure. Maybe around the world, I'm not sure, but it's Roundtable, Rosie's Roundtable Saturday. Gooch will not be with us today. He has got a million things to do before Monday's golf tournament, Stop Concussions golf tournament at Richmond Hill Golf and Country Club. It's going to be great. I'm going to be there. Barry Monroe's going to be there. Tony Meal will be there. Kerry Goulet will be there. I bet you Jordan LaRoche, the Fanshawe kid, will be there. Tons of people. I'm going to do my best to get through. Everybody knows me. It's been over a year since I've had teeth. I have my teeth. Hard to talk. I'm not feeling 100%, but I'm going to give it the best shot. I hope Fixodent doesn't get my gums all stuck, but we're going to give it the best shot. So Gooch will not be with us today. He's getting ready for this tournament. It's going to be great to finally see the guys out on the course for the first time in 2 years. We couldn't do the tournament last year. Jordan LaRoche, the Fanshawe kid, he will be running the show today. I've got my good buddy, Josh Boni. He'll be on the show today. We're going to talk a lot of stuff about what's going on in the NHL. But first, it's Rosie's rant. And I'm going to rant today about what Dougie Hamilton said. And I'm in Dougie Hamilton's corner here, ladies and gentlemen. I think what's happening is ridiculous. But I don't blame the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't blame Kucherov. I don't blame the GM. I don't blame any of them. They are just doing what the rules allow them to do. Remember, it all started with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2013. Patrick Kane was injured. They put him on long term. They were able to save a ton of money on the cap. They went to a great trade and picked up Andrew Vermette from Antoine Vermette, from the Phoenix. They got him, and they won the Stanley Cup in 2013. That was huge. That was the second of what 3 cups would be. They took advantage of the rules. Nobody's done it since then, but this year the Tampa Bay, they're $18 million over the cap. Somebody's got to step in because this is ridiculous. It's not fair. I don't blame them because they're just going by the rules. But Gary Bettman and the boys, you have to do something. Bring it in like baseball. Make it like at some point 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month before the season ends. You can play after that, but you can't play in the playoffs. Something has to be done. It's unfair. That's my view on it. You can like it. You can not like it. I really don't care one way or the other. That's my view. We live in Canada, still free country. Anyways, let's do it. Let's bring the boys up. Josh Boni, come on up, my brother.
How are you, Rosie?
Let's bring up Jordan LaRoche, the Fanshawe kid. Hey, Josh, what's your thoughts on that?
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. I'm all favorite for it. If you get away with it, why not?
But do you think the NHL has to step in?
Yeah, 18 million's a bit much. Maybe they should. I think baseball does a luxury tax over 200 million. So,
but baseball, the one thing with baseball is August 31st. If you're on the roster after August 31st, you can't play in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but hey, let's say this. The guy's got a legit injury to come back. I mean, why not? There has to be a way to do it. You're right, 18 million's a bit much, but like I said, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
I think Tampa and Chicago, they had the ultimate because sitting Patrick Kane and getting him back in the playoffs and winning the cup and sitting Kucherov and getting him back in the playoffs, they have a real good chance to win the cup again. But you know what? I'm going to pass it off to the Fanshawe kid. George, you got it from here, buddy.
Thanks, Rosie, and thank you for letting me do this today. Now that we had the Final Four matchup set in the NHL, we're probably going to take a closer look at some of those. But my first question, right off the bat, we have 2 great goalie battles in both playoff series. On one side, you got Varlamov and Vasilevsky. On the other, you got Fleury against Price. What do you think will be the bet? What matchup are you more excited to watch? What will be the better goalie battle?
Josh,
sorry, we'll go with Josh first. Sorry.
Well, that's a good question. You know what? I've always thought of like Fleury being on the outside of a Hall of Famer, but I think he's legit a Hall of Famer now. Like he's he's got 3 cups. I think he started in 2 of them. Carey Price. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Montreal. I mean, I'm a diehard Toronto guy, but Price is and the other two guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too. I mean, the guy in Tampa is phenomenal. Yeah, I would say the Price Fleury matchup. I'm looking forward to watching.
And Rosie.
I'm going to agree. I love Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury was really good to me. I love anytime I had a chance to do anything with the men or the women as a Hockey Canada para-athlete. I love the guys that were world-class but came and talked to the para guys like we were all Hockey Canada brothers. Fleury did that to me in the combines leading up to the Vancouver games. I think he has never been given his just desserts, his just due. I think he is incredible. I think the series between him and Price will be huge. I can't count the Canadiens out because I had them losing in 7 to the Leafs. They won. I had them losing in 5 to Winnipeg. They won. I do think the matchup with the Islanders in Tampa with Vasilevsky and Varlamov will be incredible too. We got 4 incredible world-class goaltenders going in the Stanley Cup semis, and I don't think we could say that. You go back maybe 10 years, I don't think there's been 4 world-class goalies of the Final Four.
And it's kind of cool because on the one side you got 2 Canadian goalies going head-to-head, and then on the other side 2 Russian goalies. So those are probably going to be some of the matchups for the Olympics coming up as well.
Yeah. I honestly, I do. I think those 4 will be the number 1, 2 for Canada, U.S., and Beijing in February.
Yeah, it definitely will be. But for my next question, so Montreal, they finished 18th in the regular season standings. What kind of key things do they have to do to kind of move past Vegas? And more importantly, who needs to step up on the Montreal side, aside from maybe Carey Price?
I'll go first, Josh. Yeah. You know what? I really think that Montreal, the way that I know you don't want to hear this, Josh, being a diehard Leaf and a diehard Blackhawk fan, I've never liked the Canadiens. They've always driven me crazy. In the 70s, they destroyed my Chicago Blackhawks. But I really think the way that they're playing, the way Dominic Duchamp, the coach, has the team playing right now, they believe in each other. I think if Price plays the way he can, and they get as tough as they can. Listen, it's going to be tough on their D. It's going to be real tough because the Vegas Golden Knights have big, strong forwards, Tuck and Stone, and some of them, they forecheck hard, as you know, Josh. I think it's going to be a complete effort. I think the young kids like Kakanyemi and Caulfield and Suzuki, they're going to have to be on their game. Stahl and Perry are going to have to bring their veteran lead. It's going to have to be, boys, a top-to-bottom effort for Montreal. I don't think they can do it, but like I said, I didn't think they could do it against the Leafs or Winnipeg, so it would not surprise me. I just think this is going to be a little too tough for them. Vegas, I think it's their year. Josh?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it. It's definitely a team effort. When you're the underdog, it's hard enough to win. When you need all guys going. I mean, even the taxi squad pushing the starters not to get complacent is important too. One name you didn't bring up, a guy that I'm not. Okay, I do like this player, and he does play for Montreal, but Anderson, the guy they got from Columbus. If he plays to his ability with his size and speed, and he can bang and crash and do all that stuff. I think, you know what, every year you got to get that wild card player. Maybe he can be that one, score some big goals. Then again, Carey Price, if he stands on his head, Montreal has a chance.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, Anderson. I like him.
Yeah, I think he wasn't great in the Toronto series. I think he only had like 2 assists, but he brings a lot more than just the point total, right?
Yeah, he had the goal in the first game too, right? The winner, or the first one, the top corner goal?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. So going over to the other side now with Tampa Bay and the Islanders, the two teams are built very differently. One, you got a lot of offense, still with a good decor and good goaltending, but it really a really top-loaded roster. And on the Islanders side, they're deep, a really stay-at-home system. Who do you think comes out on top, and why do you think they come out on top?
Well, you know what,
Josh,
the Islanders play the game the right way. Lou Lamoriello's done a fantastic job. Barry Trotz's a good coach. The thing with the Islanders is they play on the edge, and if they go over the edge, they don't have a chance. They'll be out in 4. Tampa Bay's power play is just too legit. So that's that fine line. You want to set the tone. That fourth line wants to go out and hammer. Another young star in Barzal. We see what he can do in the next round. Like, he's turning into a potential superstar. I'm going to go with what I've said early, that when you're on the edge, you can't go over. You go over the edge, it'll be over quick. If they stay on the edge, it'll be a good series.
All right, Rosie?
I agree with you. I think that when they lost their captain, Lee, I thought they were in trouble. But there's just something about Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello. I knew Lou when he was with the Devils, because the kid I brought over, Max Beerbrier, was with them. I really think that it doesn't matter who's on that roster, who wears that Islander jersey. You play Lou and Barry way, and Barry's way is team-orientated. They've got real good goaltending. They don't need any name guy to do it. Every time somebody else does it, I think Palmieri has really kicked it up since he came over from the Devils. He didn't really do much at the beginning, but I think everybody's bought in. I do think they're going to have a serious time beating the Tampa Bay Lightning 4 times. They may beat them once, and may beat them twice, and they could beat them 3 times. But you have to win 4 to get to the final. And I just can't see the Islanders beating Tampa Bay 4. They've got the best defenseman in the world, in my opinion, in Hedman. They've got arguably one of, if not the best, goaltender with Vasilevsky. And their power play is vicious.
Yeah, like looking at that decor, they have Ryan McDonough too, former Rangers captain. Mikhail Sergachev, he's been playing really well the last couple of games. There's a lot to look over on that team. But I want to go to Al Kerr's comment. Stone gets the MVP if Vegas wins the Cup. Who do you guys think is the one MVP thus far on each team? We'll go with Josh first.
Well, Price in Montreal. That's a given. Tampa Bay, well, that's a tough one. I'd go Kucherov. Vegas and the Islanders are so well rounded. Like, they play 4 lines, and that's a tough one. I mean, Barzal's been real good, and Vegas, that's hard. I mean, Fleury's come up with some big games in crucial times too, right? I mean, I know the other goalies played a few games, but I'm you know what? I'm not gonna. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough pick, Vegas.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get people to fall off their chairs here. So I'm gonna take Price for sure in Montreal. That's a given, no doubt. I'm gonna take Kucherov in Tampa. That's a given, 100%. But I'm going to go with Palmieri in the Island. I think he has played complete, exactly what they need to do. Lou letting him grow his beard in the playoffs. I think he is just so excited and happy. And I've watched every single Las Vegas Golden Knight game. I am going to go with right now their MVP is Tuck, number 89. I love this kid. He's big, he's strong, he's fearless, he's scoring big goals, he's getting big assists. I love Stone. Stone's a sexy guy to take, right? Fleury's played great. He's let a couple of bad goals in, but he's played great when they need him to. But I'm going to go, if you had to go right now, and I'm sure nobody is voting for Tuck, but I'm going to vote for Tuck. I think I love the way this kid plays, guys.
Yeah, my pick for Vegas is actually going to be William Karlsson. Leads the team in points, 13 points. Just a lot of good pieces on that team. But going over to a team that's already been eliminated from the playoffs, the Boston Bruins. They have a slew of UFAs coming up this offseason with Taylor Hall, David Krejci, and Tuukka Rask. Do they try and bring those guys in, or do they try to retool those pieces by looking elsewhere? Guys like Driedger who are going to be free agents this offseason. We'll go to Rosie first.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to bring up. I think really they want Hall is the fit. They love Hall. He loves it there. I think Hall will take a huge discount. I don't think he's going to be asking for 8 or 9. He's not getting it. But I think they'll get him at a really nice discount. Krejci, I think you want to bring him back. I honestly think that Rask is going to go somewhere else. I think he's had enough in Boston, not like in bad feelings, but I really think, and I've said this from the beginning, I think Chris Driedger's coming to Toronto. I think Driedger and Campbell, I think Toronto's going to offer Driedger a nice 2 or 3 year deal. They'll be able to get him for a couple of mil a year, and they're going to lose. Unfortunately, they're going to lose Zach Hyman, because Hyman's going to get $6 million from Detroit, and that's just unfortunate. And I'm sure that Josh wants to throw a punch through the screen at me right now, but I think that's going to be it. They're going to lose Hyman, and to make up for that, they pick up Driedger.
Hyman 6 is a bit much, and I like him. Listen, I don't want to remember the playoffs. I think he was probably playing a little injured, as he was injured before he came back. It's unfortunate when you have 13, 12, 11, and 7 and 4 forwards. It's tough to build around. As for Boston, let's not get sidetracked with the Leafs. As for Boston, you know what? Rask, I'd like to see Rask and the Toronto Maple Leafs come back to where he got drafted. Krejci's a bit old. If he takes a discount, you got to have him back. And Hall, I don't know about this kid. I mean, he started off really well. And he kind of shut it down in the second series. If he takes a discount for him, I mean, I think he's more of a second line guy than a first line guy on a really good team. So I think they'd be interested in keeping him.
Yeah, Rosie, you have anything?
I think, just follow up on that, I think he knows he's a second line guy now. And I honestly think he could probably get him for 4 and change. Like, I know the 8 and 9 that he probably thought when he went to Buffalo, that ain't happening anymore. Like, he ain't getting close to that. But I think if Boston can get him around 4, like, I don't know what you think, George, but I think 4.5 as a second line guy, he's still very valuable.
Yeah, and he can put up like 80, 90 points in the season. He's done it before, and he has the skill to do it. So, I mean, why not, right?
But isn't it amazing how you're talking about Hyman getting 6 and Hall getting less? Like, Hall's a first overall pick that has abundance of talent and speed. Hyman just has a heart the size of the city. I mean, Hyman's got decent hands and he can skate, but think about it. Think about what we're saying here. Like, Hall, I mean, what is he, part Tin Man? Like, come on, bud, pick up that heart rate. Like, with all that talent, we're talking about Hyman getting more money than him. Hall's going to look at himself in the mirror.
Let me ask you both this one question. I'll go off script here. And so 31 teams in the league, forget about the Leafs. The other 30 teams, and forget about the Bruins on the Hall thing. How many teams in the league would take Hyman over Hall? I bet you 90% of the teams would take Hyman in a heartbeat. Very few would look at Hall.
Yeah, I mean, track record. I mean, I mean, he had the one good year in New Jersey, but I mean, and again, we're going off of him being a first overall pick. So, that kind of gets at you when you have bad seasons or not first overall pick type seasons. But yeah, I would take Hyman over Hall in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people still have Taylor Hall's Hart Trophy in the back of their minds. So I mean, he probably still will get offered 5-6 plus, but I don't think he really wants that kind of pressure either.
Yeah.
He made some comments earlier this week saying how he wants to find a home somewhere where he can kind of be for a few years. So maybe he does take a discount on Boston, but I making more than Hyman's kind of a tough sell.
What about him going back to Edmonton?
No. I think Edmonton was, they had that stretch of bearing first overall guys like Neil Yakupov. Where the hell did he go? Even Nugent Hopkins, he's never lived up to it.
Yeah.
And Hall, they had so many. The only first overall guy that's really lived up to his hype has been McDavid.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? If he took a discount, he could keep up with McDavid, in the same line. But I don't know.
I think with McDavid, you need someone who can keep up with him.
Alex
Chase had nearly 40 goals playing with McDavid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't. I can't see him going anywhere but Boston. I think it's a perfect fit in Boston. He loved it. They loved him, and I really think that he's going to take. You don't need, like, listen, if somebody offered you $8-9 million, what Buffalo did with him was ridiculous. That kind of money. But what's wrong with $5 million a year? Like, I'd be more than happy to take $5 million a year and play. Nobody offered. At the height of my career, winning gold medals for Canada, I got $18,000.
What a steal!
Yeah.
Need a better agent.
Yeah, I don't think as an amateur athlete in your 40s, you got too many agents looking to pick you up.
Hey, listen, buddy, and we made paychecks playing a game we love. How lucky are we?
Yes,
exactly.
That is true. That is true.
And kind of just to build on that, do you guys think Boston will be coming back? Patrice Bergeron's going to be a year older. A couple of those key core guys are kind of getting towards the end of their careers. So do you think they're going to be a contender for the next few years, or do you kind of think they'll take a little of a slip back? We'll with Rosie first.
Yeah, you know what? I watched Marchand's closeout speech, and I think he was really upset that they went out because he thought that they had a team to contend for the cup. And what he said was, when you win the cup, they won it in 2011. We forget about that. 2011 is a long time ago. And when you win it once, it's kind of similar to a gold medal. Like, we won the gold medal in 2006, and you kind of think that, hey, man, this is great. We're going to win another one and another one and another one. Boston's never won another one and never got there. And Canada never won another one. We lost in 10, we lost in 14, lost in 18, or hopefully in 22. In March, the boys will bring it back to Canada. But the Bruins, it's hard to win. And I think the Bruins, their light is dimming real fast, guys.
You know what, though, Rosie? They were in the finals a couple of years ago. They lost to St. Louis. And I got, God rest his soul, my Uncle Tony. He was a diehard Boston fan. And, they're chirpy like the Montreal fans are. But they got a good young decor, I believe. Carlo and Miller and what's the one kid's name? 73 there.
McAvoy.
Yeah, McAvoy. I you know what? And their producing line, that Pasternak isn't too old. I know Marchand's in mid-30s and Bergeron's going to be 36 or 7. But you know what? If they don't get injuries this year, they should have knocked the Islanders off. Now they're in another semi. You know what? I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough just because, like Bergeron is going to be 36. David Krejci, if he does resign, he's 36 as well. So it'll be an interesting season for them. But kind of
where do you think, guys? Where do you think Chara? Do you think he wants to play one more year? He said it, maybe 2 more. You think he goes back to Washington, or you think Boston brings him back?
I think it'd be a tough pill to swallow to go back to Boston.
You think Washington, he goes back to Washington, or somebody else picks him up because he wants to play 2 more years, from what I heard.
Well, how do you say no to him? It just his presence alone. I mean, the fear factor. I mean, you're shaking in your boots if he lines up beside you. You know what I mean? All he has to do is growl at you. In a limited role, 12, 15 minutes a game, nothing more than that.
Yeah, and they took a big chance getting rid of him and Torrey Krug, and it didn't pay off, right? They kind of gave away a little too much depth there, and they did suffer for it against the Islanders.
Yeah, and I think he'll take the minimum. I think getting guys like Cam and Perry and Stahl, Sagan, guys like that are not Sagan, but Spezza. They'll all play for the league minimum. The $1 million or $750,000. They're all in a situation where they want to win a cup. Hey, let me ask you this, Josh. You're the big Leaf guy here. I'm the Blackhawk guy. Jordan's a Ranger guy. I like the way my team looks the next few years. So does Jordan. I know that. What do you do with those old guys? What do you do with Spezza and Big Joe?
Well, Big Joe, I think, should hang him up. I don't want to see him go through another season like that. At the end of the season wasn't fun to watch. Simmons, I don't think, again, he came back from his injury. I don't think he ever got back into shape. He was starting to play well before his hand injury, but he's real slow of foot too. And Spezza, yeah, bring him back. He played well. Like he seemed like he had energy. I'm not in the dressing room. I'm not going to be one of these guys that say he's good in the room, but he seems to get along with the guys on the bench. And I'd definitely bring him back. But I really think, and I know it's going to be difficult, I really think they got to move one of the four. I would really get on the phone with Columbus and see if you can do something for Seth Jones. You do one of those sign the contract before the trade kind of thing. So you sign Seth and you move Marner, for example. If you had to throw in a young D, Sandine or something, you do so, because it is hard to win this game with $40 million and four forwards. Yep. Let's face it, you win from the goaltending out, like goaltending D centerman. And unfortunately, I don't know why we signed to, and I'm taking nothing away from Johnny T.
Yeah.
You knew you had Marner, Matthews, and Nylander. So it'll be interesting.
I don't disagree with you. I think that I really think you sign Dreger, you can get him. I love him personally and professionally. I love him. He's a great kid. I coached him a little. I think Dreger Campbell will be good enough for you for the next couple of years. And I love that. I think if you could send Marner and I don't know if I'd do Zandine, but Marner and another okay young defenseman for Seth Jones, oh my God, I would. If I'm a Leaf guy, I'd drive to Columbus and bring Jones here in my vehicle.
I do that move in a heartbeat. It doesn't matter who, because there's only been one player in NHL history to win a playoff series making more than $10 million, and it's Carey Price. So, and Toronto having four of those guys really kind of hinders their options for free agents and all that. So they're having to sign all these guys on the league minimum, like guys like the Joe Thorntons and the Wayne Simmons. And it hurt them in the long run.
Now that $10 million stat you just threw out, there's a lot of players that aren't on the cap for that much, but make that kind of money because they had big signing bonuses, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like Shea Weber makes more than $10 million. Well, because he signed such a big signing bonus, right?
Right, but he's going by what's on the cap. What's going?
Okay, which is smart. Like that's good business.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, let's go with our predictions. I know we're getting close to time here, and George, thanks for doing this. A great job. But why don't we throw up our predictions for what's going on in the next two rounds? Josh, you go first.
Vegas in 5, Tampa in 6.
And then the final?
Let's go Vegas. I think George McPhee has done a fantastic job. The way they look, their sweaters, the crowd, the atmosphere, the shenanigans that they play during the games that get the fans going. Like a Leaf game is like a library. Like I like it. I like Vegas. It's I hope they win. They deserve it.
I agree with you 100%. The old Chicago Stadium used to be the best, and even the United Center, but I think there's no building that can come close. Even MTS in Winnipeg is got a hell of a thing, but I think there's no building that if you want to go to a game, you got to get to Vegas and watch the Golden Knights. I'm going to say the Golden Knights in 6. I know one of my buddies, Dave Black, is going to probably laugh at me because he's laughed at me every time the Canadians have won. He goes, Rosie, you're a big expert. You call the Leafs, you call Winnipeg. But I'm going with Vegas. I'm going to say Vegas in 6, and I'm going to say Tampa in 6. I'm going to give the Islanders a little more credit than people are giving them. And then Vegas wins the Cup, keeps the back-to-back away again, and they win it in 7. That's my prediction. So that probably means that Vegas is going out in 5 against Montreal.
No.
I am the touch of death to a team.
Is that David Black, the referee?
Yeah, well, umpire, but yeah, he refed for years too.
Yeah, I went to school with him.
Great guy.
And I'm going to go the other way, actually. I'm going to go Montreal in 7 and Tampa in 7, just because both teams have embarrassed me throughout the playoffs. And then in the final,
Won't say Montreal to win the cup.
I was about to. I'm going to go with Tampa and 5 to win the cup.
Can you imagine if the Montreal... No, honest God.
Let's not imagine.
Can you imagine the arrogance of the Montreal fans if the Montreal Canadiens win the cup?
No. I don't want to imagine it.
One of my best friends is a Habs fan. And
Montreal winning the cup, and I'm going to get hate mail here, for sure. Francois Landerville, the Flying Frenchman, is going to throw something through the screen for sure. But I think Montreal winning the cup would be worse than Trump being president again in 2024.
One of my good buddies is a big Habs fan, and he's already intolerable. So I can only imagine what winning a Stanley Cup would do.
When we were up 3-1, my Facebook was quiet. It was crickets, Montreal fans. Now it's like nonstop. I'm seeing all kinds of stuff.
Yep. That's what it is. But hey, is that it, George? Anything else?
Yeah, that was all I had. Thank you for letting me do this again, Rosie. And we'll see you soon.
Love it. Yeah. Thanks, George. Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate you coming on again. We have to get you on one of these times with Jamie Maguire.
Yeah, 100%. We'll ask Jamie about my backhand toe drag on him.
Perfect. Let's do that. Let's get on the golf course one of these days soon.
Yeah, let's do that. Thanks for having me anytime.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Take care. I love the round table. Missed the Gooch, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do things, and he's got to get ready for the big tournament. Stop Concussions tournament on Monday at the Richmond Hill Golf and Country Club. We're sold out. But, if you come by and maybe sneak in the parking lot and say hi for a second, we might be able to allow that. I'm not sure with the new rules, but should be fun. Can't wait to see the guys. Tomorrow night, The Journey, show number 3 with Mark Del Montes. The Journey with Barks and Rosie, Brad Bartko, and myself. We'll have Mark Del Montes on talking about what it's like to be visually impaired, talk about the ability that he has got through disability. Should be a great show. Really looking forward to it. Again, thank you so much, Fanshawe kid, Jordan LaRoche, for doing a great job. You took over for Kerry last minute, and you did an incredible job. The Gooch is probably shaking right now that he thinks you're going to replace him continuously. But I love doing this on Saturday. Have yourself a great night, a great weekend. No games tonight, but tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, Tampa and the Islanders. We'll see what happens. Until then, have a great evening. Take care of yourself and take care of others, and God bless.
You've been listening to the Rosen Report, sports like never before, with your host, Rosie. Brought to you by Gooch Live and Paramount Sports Management.